I can tell you is, if we walk away from this agreement, given the suspicions that the Supreme Leader had about even entering into negotiations with us, we will have proven their worst fears, that you can't deal with the West, you can't trust the West, therefore they have to go do what they have to do to protect themselves. And they will get a weapon one way or the other as a result of not accepting this agreement.
See, I was confused. I didn't know it was about pleasing and trying to prove ourselves to the Iranian Ayatollahs. I was silly me. Joining us now is Alan Dershowitz, legendary Harvard Law School professor, Newsmax contributor, and author of a great new book, The Case Against the Iran Deal, How We Can Now Stop, How Can We Now Stop Iran from Getting Nukes. There it is on your screen. Alan, good to see you, sir.
Thank you
for coming
so much.
in.
Thanks for having me on.
Wow. I mean, just listening to that warped logic of Kerry, your head spins.
It really does. And the tragedy is it's much more likely Iran will now get a bomb as the result of this deal. Even the president, when he announced the deal, said if we can stop them from getting a bomb for 10 years, we've succeeded. Now he says, well, maybe it's 12, 15. We don't know what the deal says. And we're being asked to buy a pig in a poke. And virtually every senator and congressman that's voting for the deal doesn't like it. But they're voting because they don't want to undercut American policy. They're voting because they think voting against it is worse than voting for it. The president presented us with two options: very bad and even worse.
Right.
And he told us, please don't vote for even worse. Let's stick with very bad.
Well, he now has the votes in the Senate since the Senate relinquished its duty as treating this as a treaty, which was a big mistake, I think. And now there's even talk that, and Dick Cheney was here yesterday and said if this happens, the Senate will have been neutered, that they may not even take a vote. They may not get to cloture 60 votes to even take an up or down vote to put the senators on record.
Well, as an opponent of the deal, I actually think a filibuster would be a good result because it would deny legitimacy to the deal. The American public is not going to accept a deal that was filibustered. Let's remember what a filibuster is. It was a Southern strategy designed to undo democracy and to offend equality, and for the Democrats to use a filibuster to prevent this deal from being debated. We should be having Lincoln Douglas debates about this deal.
Absolutely.
Instead, they're trying to shut it down. You know why? Because they don't have good answers. They can't explain to us why Iran needs 24 days to move and hide the material if they didn't intend to cheat. Look, I'm a criminal lawyer. When I have an innocent client, which I do from time to time, and the police come to their door, the first thing I say is search right away. Don't even delay a minute. I don't want you to suspect that anything was
if they're innocent,
moved around.
Yeah.
If they're not so innocent,
come back in 24 days.
24 days, we'll be happy to talk.
Well, how about this one? How about if your client could inspect his own home for criminal activity?
And produce, oh, would you like to give us a drug sample? My God, every athlete in the world would love that. Give us your own drug sample.
It is crazy.
We don't know what we don't know.
You know, you're an expert of this deal to a great extent. Donald Trump has talked about, and others have talked about, but he brought it up yesterday, that this deal would, if Iran were attacked by Israel or anybody else, that the U.S. would actually have to defend Iran.
No, that's a misreading of the deal.
It is,
There's an annex to the deal that says that the P5+1 will cooperate with the Iranian government to protect from espionage and sabotage. That's bad enough, but it doesn't require us to defend them in case of a military attack.
Okay.
And I believe there will be a military attack. I think this...
By who?
Here's what I think happens. We've taken the military option off the table by the United States. We've taken the sanctions off the table. I know Benjamin Netanyahu. I've known him since 1973. He is not going to sit back and allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons. This deal makes it much harder for Israel to defend its people and to defend itself and to defend the world, but it will do it if it has to. And perhaps this deal has given Israel no option but to take whatever steps it needs to take to prevent the catastrophic effect of giving a nuclear bomb to a country whose leader once said, if we have a bomb, we'll kill 3 to 5 million Israelis. It's a one-bomb country. We'll destroy the country. Then they'll bomb Tehran, but that doesn't matter because there are more Muslims than Jews.
Today, headline on Drudge, Iran commander, we're getting prepared to overthrow Israel. And we welcome war with the U.S., so they don't stop. But you think Bibi will, or Israel will, have to eventually take them out?
I hope not. But I have to tell you, given the choice between an Iran with a nuclear weapon or Israel taking an extraordinarily risky and dangerous action as a last resort, Israel is not going to, and that's not just Netanyahu. That's anybody. Herzog, that's everybody in the Israeli government.
The book is The Case Against the Iran Deal. I want to put up very quickly a tweet by Gwen Ifill, the anchor on the NewsHour on PBS. after the Obama got the votes he needed in the Senate to override the veto, take that, Bibi. And then she mocks the diagram that he presented at the UN. What is that about?
Well, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there were statements like that in the White House. This has become all too personal. The President of the United States has become childish, petty, vengeful against Netanyahu because Netanyahu came to America, spoke the truth to members of Congress, and they listened to him. We ought to stop this name calling. We ought to stop this petty personal attack.
Hillary too, right? When they attack Bibi, is this a problem with certain Jews? You think?
Well, I think there are people out there who don't like tough Jews and tough Israelis, and Netanyahu is tough. Look, they didn't like Begin.
Perhaps?
Well, I don't know, but they didn't like Begin, and he was a great leader. Many didn't like Rabin.
Are you talking about Obama and Hillary that don't like tough Jews?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Hillary knows plenty of tough Jews.
Okay.
Me, for example.
Yeah, all right.
But I think there are people out there who are uncomfortable. They much prefer to see an Israel that's conciliatory, that accepts whatever America says. I was once in the Oval Office with the president, and I said to him, would you expect ever to outsource America's safety to another country? No. Would you expect Israel to outsource its safety to another country? Of course not. Israel has to maintain the right to defend itself against Iran's nuclear weapon. The second worst thing is an attack. The first worst thing would be Iran with nuclear weapons.
Have a great Labor Day weekend and a great happy, healthy New Year, sir, if I don't speak to you. Okay, Alan Dershowitz, the book, The Case Against the Iran Deal. There it is on your screen again, ladies and gentlemen. The panel's next. Don't go away.